Hey, coaches, welcome back to Football Talk with Coach Chip. Today we're going to be talking about how to run the buck from the gun using the backside RPO and a pre-snap access. You can see both of them right here on the title screen. There's your pre-snap access with the bubble, and here's your post-snap, and we're going to get in and talk about that. Before we get going, let me go ahead and make this announcement. Most of you know it because you follow me on the socials. I have come out of my semi-retired state and have accepted the head coaching position of the Lynette High School Panthers. It's the team you see in so many of our clips on Football Talk with Coach Chip, the black and gold team, where we won a couple of state championships just a few years ago. And Coach Clifford Story has stepped down to follow his two younger sons who are playing college football at the University of Alabama and at Clemson. And so he contacted me and I said, yeah, I'll come out of retirement for this one, boss, no problem. And so I've been getting my feet wet the last 3 weeks. That's why you haven't heard from me any new content. I'm going to keep making videos. I'm going to call some of these guys that I know that are head football coaches and they've got YouTube channels and they're able to do that and see what they do, probably loading up during their off season time and then time releasing the videos. I got to do better at that. But let's get started. Oh, before we get started, stay tuned to the end for a special offer. Stay tuned to the end and don't cheat and click ahead. Just stay tuned, watch the content. It's good stuff if you want to know how to run a backside RPO and a backside access off the buck or the power or the zone. RPO's RPO. Let's get started.
We're going to talk RPOs and we're going to talk them out of buck sweep today. And this was inspired by a couple of our devoted viewers who comment with me a lot. We get back and forth on my email, siegel.chip@gmail.com. That's SEAGLE.chip@gmail.com. And a lot of the stuff that we do, they've inspired it. Not just them, but just people comment. It makes me realize that I didn't do a very good job of explaining things, or I've caused more questions, which is good. And I think I've said this before. I know I've said it when I'm corresponding with people. I just did this so folks would talk football, would talk ball with me. All I want to do is just talk ball. Just an old coach wanting to talk some ball. And I want to talk to you about the first one I ever did way back about 7 years ago. I want to say it was 2013 or 2014 when we got in gun. We were still running a wing tee, and we still do. And it was a pre-snap. A lot of folks say, well, that's not an RPO. Well, whatever. What we do, because I was new to it. I'd never done it. And I was thinking this would be an easy one to teach and an easy one to learn. You pre-snap it. If that dog, that hole player, can't make that play right there, you throw the bubble. You just throw it. You say, well, what are you doing? What is the conflict or what is the bind you're putting him in? Well, what you're doing is you're constraining him with this access throw, the gift, whatever you want to call it. Because if he's in here, then he can stop your counter off of the buck, okay, off the buck action. But if you get him out here far enough where he's got to worry about this bubble, okay, and some folks like to do it with the bubble slants right there, okay, then he can't make the play here. You're cleaning up your counter hold because we can account. You've got the down block here. You got the kicker here, and you got the wrapper coming right there. So you got those three accounted for. Everybody else is getting down block too and back block. But you can't account for that dog if he's going to fall in, to the off tackle hole. So to keep him out of the mix, to keep him from getting nosy, you got to show them that ability that you'll throw that joker out there. This is a great one for young teams, for youth teams, for junior high teams. And you don't have to do it out of buck, but you can do it out of the outside zone, away from it. And either one's fine. And we had a good one on the pin and pull versus the buck sweep. And they're both good in their own right. It just depends on what kind of lineman you have. I like the buck because you're not always going to have that tackle that can reach that 5. So why do I like doing it out of this action in the backfield? Because the quarterback is here. Now, I've told my young quarterbacks in the past, I said, guys, when you hear an announcer on TV, so, oh, man, he's really seeing the entire field tonight. I'm calling bull crap on that. Now, there's been a few that maybe could see the entire field, but the truth of the matter is they're playing math. You know what I'm talking about. They drop back and they're reading a guy over on the left and they go 1-2. Okay, based on that, then this over here's got to be open. And they may call that seeing the entire field, but there ain't no way it's humanly possible to drop back and see 53 yards. God ain't made peripheral vision that great yet. Even Oscar Robertson with his bug-eyed self flipping that ball off as he goes down the lane, laying it off, couldn't see like that. That's just a basketball court. 53 and a third yards from sideline to sideline. Who the crap's looking at that? All right, back to my point. The defense doesn't know who he's looking at. He could be reading this dog, this Will, this Mike, this Sam, this safety. Who is he reading? Because he's looking. If you're running power, and it's a great, RPO is great off power, RPO is great off a zone, inside zone. Don't get me wrong. But my point is, I like it this way. Because you're still you're kind of off tackle, especially when you get that tight end out here. You're kind of off tackle, so it's an inside run of sorts. All right, but the defense now doesn't know. It's almost like old triple option football. And, when I was a young coach, we just run inside veer, outside veer, and then in the 90s, we had the midline, and we always reading the same guy. It was very simple. But then I'd go to a clinic or something like that and sit in on somebody like off Georgia Tech staff or Georgia Southern staff back then. Georgia Tech wasn't running it back when I was a young coach. And you would hear them talk about calls where you're reading a different guy. And the defense doesn't know who's being read. They don't know who the offense is going to leave unblocked. All right, now fast forward to the year 2020. Okay, and we're running, this is modern new age option football. They don't know who if you've got the quarterback, you got the back set over here, and that guy's going to come across right here. The quarterback's got the whole field to choose from who he's going to read. Who is the guy that we're going to trigger, that's going to trigger our quarterback to either leave the ball with the running back on the buck or the sweep, outside zone, whichever is, you prefer. Who's the guy that's going to trigger him to keep it and throw some type of RPO pass, some kind of quick pass? Okay? That's why I love doing it so much out of the buck action. All right, let's look at a real RPO before our spread guys out there in the audience have a hemorrhage and their brain explodes right here in the middle of a COVID hiatus. This one is a backside read, okay? Like the other one was backside read too, but it was a pre-snap. This one we're going to read, we're going to put the will, and we define will by the first inside linebacker backside of the midline, backside of the midline of the play. You drew a line right down the center. Everything to the left on this play would be backside. And so what he is, this is the will. That's who we identify as will. That's the guy we're reading on this one. Now, Coach asked me, he said, how do you know who you're reading? Well, it's just any play. Like any other play. There's certain rules attached to it. You tell them, okay, on this one, we're reading will. And you can do it with tags. You can just call buck or call sweep or call power or call zone. And then with a tag from a coach on the sideline or a kid holding up a signboard or just somebody saying something or giving a signal, everybody knows what we're doing. And you come up with the name, whatever that is. Okay, we're going to read will backside, so we're going to call that womble. There's a W and a B in there, womble. And can you tell I'm just grabbing that out of the thin air, okay, or something a little lower than thin air, picking it out of there. And that's how you read it, and that's how you discern who you're reading. If you're a wristband team, you can put it on the quarterback's wristband, read will, read will, backside slant. And that tells him, buck right, read will, backside slant. That tells him everything he needs to know. And you rep it up in such a way where he knows what that means. So on this one, you're running your slant-looking thing here, okay? And I hear you're running your under, same amount of steps. And people say, why do you do that? If the quarterback is not looking at that receiver. He's looking, as soon as he gets the ball, he's extending it and looking at the will. He doesn't have a clue what the receiver's doing, okay? And he doesn't know what that dog is doing. So if that dog, for some reason, some sneaky defensive coordinator, and y'all find out who they are, if they're on this site, we're going to ban them. We don't have that mess up in here. He's going to take that away. So the quarterback, he reads will chasing that backer. Okay. So the quarterback pops up, you're going to throw that, and he goes, oh crap, there's the dog. Right then, boom, boom, throw the under. I promise you, the corner is not doing this. If he's lined up here, he ain't doing this. All right. Now they may do this. And if they do that, you know what I tell my guy to do? Give it. We got a good coaching point. If in doubt, give to live. They never forget that rhyme. Okay. If in doubt, give to live. And that's all they got to do. And that's why I have that under out there right there. All right. But now if he's off like that, 7, 8 yards, and you push off hard right here at an angle, he's going to give ground with you. Okay. And then that under will be there. And that's your little outlet in case that dog gets sneaky. Okay. Or if he spots that safety getting sneaky, trying to come up here and rob that mess right there. All right. And that's why we do that. And I hope that answers that question.
Guys, that's it for this video. I hope you got something from it. Please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. And feel free to contact me at siegel.chip@gmail.com. Of course, we have the big book of bucks available. Just email me. Tell me you want it. I'll tell you what you got to do to get it. Now, I did tell you there's a special offer. New subscribers, if you will subscribe, if you're one of those people that are watching the videos and not subscribing, you can get a free copy of Buck with RPOs Explained. It's a PDF. All you have to do is subscribe, take a screenshot, email it to me at siegel.chip@gmail.com. It's Buck with RPOs Explained. It's good stuff. It's got an excerpt. What it is, it's excerpted, is that a word, from the big book of bucks. And it's just like a little summary that explains the front and the backside RPO. And it's got the full thing in there. It's several pages on a PDF. We don't get into necessarily how we block the buck. That's where you get the book, the big book of bucks. I like big bucks and I cannot lie. You existing subscribers. I'm not going to forget you. You get a copy just for sharing it. So go ahead on your Twitter, on your Instagram, on your Facebook, whatever it is that you use as a social. And if you're not a social media person, you've got email. Send it out to your friends. You got a bunch of buddies who are coaches or guys that you're going to coach with this year, and y'all are thinking about running buck or something like that. Send them a copy, the link to the Football Talk with Coach Chip channel, and screenshot it, and I will send you this Buck with RPOs Explained, no questions asked, no charge. Just you need to subscribe or share if you're already a subscriber. Stats say, YouTube/Google stats say the majority of viewers don't subscribe. Why? No clue. Because if you do, you can get alerts. If you click the bell, you get alerts every time I put something up. It's so much easier for you to subscribe, and it doesn't cost anything, and you don't get all kind of crap from Google or YouTube. You don't get crap from me. I may send you an email every now and then, and if you don't want it, say, hey, take me off that email list, Coach Chip. I'll do it. So please do that. All right. And hey, let's be elite. Thank y'all.